Association and something you should get to know. She's the executive director of Room 217 Foundation, and she's an experienced performer, songwriter, and music educator. The Room 217 Foundation is a not-for-profit corporation and registered Canadian charity that is dedicated to caring for the whole person with music. It produces and distributes therapeutic music care resources that are used in a variety of ways, and the most common uses are for end-of-life and after-care, Alzheimer's and dementia care, long-term and chronic care, and recreation and leisure. And it's really, truly an honor to have her with us today. I think you'll enjoy what she's going to do. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you so much, Gary, and it's great to be with you. I'm just so happy that the sun's shining today and the temperature's rising. We had snow in Port Perry on the weekend that stayed on the ground. So it's great to be with you. This is a topic that I can talk about every day, all the time, because I'm quite passionate about it, because music matters. I've always had the strong sense that music is my close companion along the journey of life. It has accompanied me through various life passages and has become associated with the people, the places, and the events and feelings in my life. And it may be that way for you too, because music is a powerful medium. And it's especially powerful when we're talking about aging, well-being, and aging well. So today I want to share with you 5 reasons why music matters in healthy aging. Number 1. Whoops, I'm going to just see if that'll work. It was working before. You didn't turn it off, did you?
Nope. Click back on PowerPoint.
You know what? I'm going to get you. I'll get my new friend to help me here. Next slide. There we go. Music connects people. That's reason number 1 why music matters. It connects people whether it's 2 people or 2,000 people. Bonds are made between people and music. People with music. It could be a shared event where a connection is made, say like a wedding or a concert or a dance. Maybe a shared feeling where we resonate around an emotion like joy or grief or love. It may be a shared idea where the music becomes symbolic, like the hook of a jingle. Remember that jingle that went, hands in my pocket, hands in my pocket, hands in my pocket? Do you remember that one a couple of years ago? You don't remember that one? It was the banker. I got it in my pocket. And I kind of went, oh man, I could really relate to that poor guy whose the hand was in the pocket. But it made me feel connected to the person on the screen. Music played, if you want to switch up, music played an enormous role in my connection with my grandma, Nanny Gross. As a child, she would come when I was practicing the piano, and she'd put her knobby fingers in my shoulder and say, sit up straight, baby, like this. And I can kind of, if I do this, I can still almost feel those knobby fingers in my shoulders. And when I was a student at the University of Toronto, in the music faculty there, and when we were doing concerts, she'd hop on the subway and come down and hear the concerts. She was an amateur violinist, an ECE teacher, loved music, and it's a way we connected. In the last 5 years of her life, it was the only means we could connect, because my nan lived with vascular dementia. And it was when we visited and the music began that she would light up and we would make those connections. And several years before my nan actually passed away in 2004, I needed to write a song about what was happening because it was, in a sense, I felt in many ways like I was losing the connection. And maybe some of you know what I mean. So I want you to listen to the song, and I think you can probably appreciate the relationship we have. It's called Pictures in My Heart. I walked into your room last night. You were sitting in your chair. people, and whether it's connections with your grandma, whether it's connections with your grandchildren, whether it's connections with your neighbors, whether it's connection with your partner or your kids, music certainly helps us connect with each other. Next, second of all, music improves our quality of life. I love this shot a lot. When I say that music improves our quality of life, some of you may be going, well, that's pretty commonsensical. Did you know they actually research this kind of thing? And there's some Australian researchers that have really taken an interest in looking at music and quality of life in people who are aging. And do you know what they've come up with? That the role of music is valued by most older people, and that the role is actually recreational, educational, social, emotional, therapeutic, and spiritual. Those are the findings of music in older people's lives. In a similar study by the same researchers, they argue that music can be used to maintain and promote a better quality of life for people who are growing older. And here's what they found. Music provides people with ways of understanding and developing self-identity. It's a form to share and interact with others, maintains well-being. It's a personal experience to which people assign meaning and emotion. Music helps experience and express spirituality. It provides strong associations with and memories of a person's life. Music allows people to engage in imaginative play, helps people feel confident and independent, and music lessens the feelings of isolation and loneliness. Now I want you to look at that list on the screen.
I want to start. Sorry.
Oh, next, sorry, it's the next one. You can't do it?
There it is.
It's there.
There it is, okay. Just take a look at that list. And is there one that you can relate to? Does music matter for you? In a particular kind of way? I see some of you nodding. Which one do you relate with? I saw you nodding. This lady in the striped shirt. Which one do you relate to?
Reading still.
Okay, so you're nodding to a few.
I love music, so.
And can anybody relate to one of those? Which one can you relate to?
Oh, quite a few of them. Lessen feelings of isolation and loneliness. Imagine play, memories.
Is there anything on the list that you could add, that's not on the list that you could add? In terms of what music might do for you? In terms of, yes?
Brings back many happy memories of my youth.
It brings back memories of your youth.
Yeah, rock and roll generation.
The rock and roll generation. So that's like providing the strong associations with the memories. Mm-hmm.
It motivates you to move.
Ha.
Or like exercise or just doing something. Because you hear music, you automatically do a little bit.
Energizes.
So it energizes, maybe you vacuum a little faster. Or pedal the bike a little faster. Especially music with a beat. Anything else that comes to mind? Yes? Hey, nice, yeah. It helps not only bring cultures together, but maybe even bring some understanding about each other's backgrounds and where we come from. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Yeah.
I think it's our mind going because we want to remember the lyrics, sing the lyrics. So I think that is something that kind of keeps us sharp. And there's always meaning to those lyrics, and that's important.
So this cognitive stimulation.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I have a question about helps people feel confident and independent. What do you mean by that?
So particularly maybe people that have any kind of cognitive impairment, and that there's a lot of, they're beginning to lose some of their competencies.
Yeah.
Music is something that they may be able to remember and actually engage in quite meaningfully and quite confidently when other things are slipping away.
Yeah.
And also, you know, there's some really funky kinds of activities and programs going on in the seniors population. I got to tell you, there's something that Chartwell does within their residents called Senior Star. We've got people that it's amazing. There's 900 people across the country, I think from the age of maybe 60 and up, that get together. It's almost like a Canadian Idol for seniors. And so talk about competency and confidence building and meaningful activities, eh? So, 5 reasons. Number 1, music connects people. Number 2, music improves our quality of life. Number 3, music is cross-coded into the events of our life. Think about that. It accompanies us through our life passages, and it really, really connects. I was just talking to somebody before this began, and maybe she's not a CART member because she's having her first baby. Maybe, I don't think she's actually a CART member. But she said, you know, I'm really thinking about getting some music for Little Paper and Delivery so I can focus. And I'm thinking to myself, there it is again. There's a life passage where music will accompany and support us on the journey. When we hear a piece of music, though, what I'm really trying to get the point across on this one is that when we hear a piece of music, we may associate it with that time when we first heard it, or another place, or, and that music may have really a great deal of personal meaning for us. And as we age, it's these memories made associations and meaning that actually help define who we are. David Schenck, the author of The Forgetting, says, we are the sum of our memories. Everything we know, everything we perceive, every movement we make is shaped by them. Let's try that. If you play a particular song, tell me any association you have with the song. And we could have 100 different associations, right? Because it's personal, and which means the meaning is also personal. My meaning isn't the same as your meaning. But I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, here's my demonstration. Anymore. But, okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this little exercise we're doing. What am I remembering? Well, I'm remembering Saturday nights when I was a kid. And my family watched Hockey Night in Canada in our family room with popcorn. And I remember one time my dad took us to Maple Leaf Gardens, and at the back I met Tim Horton. And my kids go, Jen? Tim Horton was real? All of those things come back to me. But you know what? I can actually smell the popcorn when I hear that song. So it's the meanings, it's all of the associations that are quite sensory surrounding that song. So let's try a couple of others, all right? Hopefully I've got some songs that you'll be able to connect with and associate with somewhere along the line. Let's try this one. With that song. Yes, for you? So that's the meaning for you or the association?
The association.
Okay.
And the meaning is sadness.
So you're sad about that song?
Because that was me.
Okay. Vacation. He's going on vacation. I don't think you're sad about that at all. Anybody else? Uh-huh.
I remember when I was younger, when that music was popular, and it brings me back to that time. And it was a happy time.
It was a happy time. It takes you right back. Okay, here's another one. Pardon me? Okay. So you're remembering the movie. Maybe were you in a theater when you saw it? Okay, so she's right back at the theater in 1964 when Breakfast at Tiffany's came out. Somebody else? Yeah.
I took my mother to Maple Leaf Gardens to see Andy Williams.
Okay, completely different. All right, you're right back in the original context of the song "Breakfast at Tiffany's." She took her mom to see Andy Williams, who sang this song at Maple Leaf Gardens. Completely different association, same song, triggers. See what I'm saying? Let's do one more. Yeah, I know. Name that tune. Okay, an association.
I'm moving, I saw my father.
Okay. Anybody else an association?
You have a license for your men cave.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
You have a license for your men cave from the Pink Panther. Famous line.
I'm going, okay, right. Okay, good. Anybody else, an association?
Lots of laughter.
Okay, laughter. So see what I mean about why music matters in terms of what it does for us in terms of our meanings and our memories, and in a sense connecting with our self historically. And it calls up an awful lot of emotions that have been connected with those stories. Music matters in healthy aging because it connects people, because it improves our quality of life, because it's cross-coded into the events of our life. And music is stored in many parts of the brain. I think this is one of the main reasons why music matters as we age. It stimulates, it keeps connections firing, it gives us opportunities, in fact, to create new pathways. You can learn new musical skills and aptitudes in your 80s, in your 90s. Your brain, through this wonderful thing called neuroplasticity, will actually find these new routes. It's a marvelous, marvelous concept. You know, also, there isn't one site in the brain where music is processed. In other words, this is not where music is processed, right there. Music is processed in many places. It's the various parts of music that are processed and encoded in various parts of the brain. For example, if you were having an MRI and fMRI and brain parts were lighting up, many parts would light up if you were singing a song or had a song being sung in terms of how you're responding. Let me tell you what I mean. If you were tapping your foot and doing something as a movement or as a motion or something muscular, that would be processed in one place. If I was singing just like I did, the semantic part, the lyric, would be processed in another place. The melody is processed in the limbic system, another place. The harmony is a higher cortical activity. Do you see what I'm saying? Every aspect of the music is processed all over the brain, cross-hemispherically, both left side, right side. That's why it's so strong. That's why it's so significant in care. When people's brains, for example, are beginning to disintegrate and roll back, and sort of fall out, the musical pathways may not be. They may still be firing because they're in different places. Isn't that wonderful news? Music matters as we're aging. And one of those reasons is because it's stored in many parts of the brain. And finally, the fifth reason why music matters is because it provides support at end of life. And whether we want to acknowledge that or not today, that is a certain piece of information for all of us. We will have an end of life. I'm thinking here, though, we've got some very young, sprightly CARP folks. We may be thinking today more of a loved one that we're journeying with, a parent, a sister, a brother, aunt, or an uncle. And I want you to be thinking in whatever context you can think of it right at this moment where music's providing support at end of life. I know that really well because I lived it in room 217 in the Uxbridge Cottage Hospital. In 2002, when my 5 siblings and my mom and I said goodbye to my dad around his bedside after an 18-month life-threatening illness took my dad. And music had always been such a significant part of our family life and certainly in my relationship with Dad. And as he was passing, we were able to sing the songs he loved and support him and give him courage and strength. And it was actually noticeable in terms of his responses to the music. But you know, in those 100 nights he was in a large Toronto hospital, not once was he ever offered music. As a live intervention or as a recorded intervention. Observation, not criticism, just observation. But I wondered why. Music therapists, social workers, spiritual care people, nurses, PSWs on a cancer ward never offered music once. And it made me wonder if there may be a lack of resources, something specially designed for palliative care, for that end-of-life journey. And certainly as a musician and as a family caregiver, I left Room 217 that January evening saying, I'm going to change this. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I just knew that we needed something that was specifically designed with therapeutic values, but was artistically sound, that could provide hope, beauty in a gentle way to families like ours, and to caregivers who maybe didn't know how to do it, and maybe didn't have the resources to share. We launched the first couple of albums of Room 217 in the fall of 2005, and we now have 12 albums in the collection, 2 box sets. We're right across the country. Actually, we are in several countries in the world, but we're really focusing on Canada. But iTunes helps getting to other places, that's for sure. In 2009, my husband and I knew, just from the work we'd done, and particularly the traveling and teaching I had done across the country in hospice palliative care, this thing was way bigger. And we needed to actually create a structure that could embrace the full vision. And here's the vision. Room 217 Foundation is about 3 things. Number 1, it's about creating music care resources that are evidence-based, so there's some science behind it, with current research thinking, but they're also, but the resources are musically sound and artistically sound, commercially viable. These resources, while we've created them for palliative care, and let me give you, for example, we use familiar music. There's one of our production values, because we want the music to wrap people in comfort and provide opportunity for legacy and relationship completion. And familiar music, the evidence shows that familiar preferential music is much more effective that way. We actually record live off the floor with acoustic instruments at 60 beats per minute, which goes in sync with resting heart rate. I'll give you an example. You know this Elton John song? Your song? You know that song? Let me go. If I was playing that, that's where I would put it. Now I'm going to slow it down to 60 beats per minute. I want you to feel it. Uh-oh, I'm in competition with something. There we go. You could time me if you've got a second hand. Feel the difference? Shape's still the same, harmony's still the same, just the tempo, much more relaxed. And we don't make it quite as busy. So we're trying to match what's happening when a body is dying, but still support the essence and the spirit of the person as they carry on. So resources, that's number 1. Number 2 is education, music care education. This is a day where I'm speaking with you and educating you a little bit about music and why it matters. And we've given you some stuff on your chairs you can certainly take home. And we do workshops, we do conferences. We have our own conference. Gary was at our conference last year. There's another one coming up in Toronto this coming November. And the other part of the foundation is we do delivery programs. And GlaxoSmithKline has helped us with our first delivery program right into 42 hospices across the country, from Newfoundland to Vancouver. We're able to bundle our resources and give them to the most vulnerable Canadians, people who are dying, and their loved ones, to support them. Actually, you can leave it right there. I'm just going to finish with a song. Music supports and matters in aging because it connects us, it improves our quality of life, it's cross-coded in the events of our lives, it's stored in many parts of our brain, and it provides support at end of life. It provides comfort. the opportunity for legacy reminiscence. Sometimes, you know, when people are at end of life, if you've accompanied somebody like in that situation, it's really hard to find the words. It's really hard to find the words. Sometimes people are medicated and they can't. Sometimes you're just way too overcome with emotion. And sometimes songs can be your words. To release, to say thank you, to say goodbye, to say I love you. Like this song. I didn't write this song. It's a great song. It's a Beatles song. You'll know it. There are places I'll remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares to you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. No, I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you later.